Man, talking to Brad was really cool just because we have the man on the scene and he was really nice about it. So it was really cool learning about all the new guys. At least I'm going to be watching and going to have an emotional investment of. But moving on, let's go ahead and talk about our next little section right now. Joining me today, we all know him. We all love him online. One of the greatest guys to follow on Twitter and on the Reddit. We're joined by one of the main mods on Atlanta Hawks Reddit, joined by Jeff, but I believe you guys know him as Thrash. Is this correct? Am I talking to
That's
the
correct.
Thrash?
Yes, the Thrash.
The
Yes,
Thrash. Now,
yes. Keep playing me up. That's great. I'm sure I won't get shit for that or anything.
man, so I have to know, did you choose the name because of the Thrashers?
I did. It was like one of my first email addresses.
Really?
Thrashfan17. Yeah, 17 for Kovalchuk. And I don't know.
Chuck.
It's always stuck. It was my Xbox Live gamer tag, and yeah, it's just always kind of been my online username, I guess.
When people ask me about my favorite hockey team and stuff, I say, well, they got rid of my favorite hockey team, so
Yeah, you don't have one now, right? Neither do I, honestly. When the Stanley Cup was on, I was just rooting for everybody
I don't know.
and nobody at the same time.
I was a real big fan of Evander Kane simply because of the one video I saw of him knocking somebody out. Uh,
He likes to fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of him.
Hmm.
Anyway, let's get into this Atlanta Hawks basketball stuff. I guess you know what I'm supposed to talk about.
Sure.
So Brad was just talking with me. We went over all the big stuff, man. And well, are you a Jarrett Jack fan? You know, Jarrett Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I am a fan. I wasn't a fan in the playoffs in 2015 when he was destroying us in the first round.
Yeah.
But, I'm a tech fan, and he's a tech product, of course. So I'm a big fan of his. I mean, obviously his play has dipped last year with his injury, and he was just kind of low overall. But I think it's a good third. Do you think he's going to be a second guy, or do you
Well,
think he'll be the third string?
well, I was just talking to Brad on the pod, and he was mentioning how Malcolm Delaney is actually someone who's been
Hmm.
very impressive, at least watching not just highlights but film.
Right.
Thinking he might be able to fit in pretty well, at least because he has really good shooting ability.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Brett on that. When they announced the signing, I had no idea who that guy was.
Me
I
too.
think a lot of Twitter was like that too. It was like, who is this? But watching his highlights and stuff, he definitely has some skills, and he won like MVP or something over there, something like that, EuroLeague MVP.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Garrick when it happened, and of course, Garrick knows all things sports. For those
Hmm.
that don't know, he's like, "Oh, I remember him when he played at UVA or whatever school he went to." So, yeah.
I think it was uh, Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech, excuse me. I was
Right.
same state.
Yeah, you're close.
Close
Yeah.
enough, same state. But he remembers
Hmm.
that. And, like, man, I guess I've never heard of the guy. But hey,
Yeah.
it isn't a Hawks summer unless you sign someone where you're like, who?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Bazemore was a few years ago. Honestly, for me, I mean, I knew who the guy was, but that was a real surprise for me. And
Bazemore.
obviously, it's worked out. So I mean, I guess they're good at it.
Kent Bazemore, my mortal frenemy, where I honestly didn't like him the first like year and a half, simply because
Right.
simply because of I didn't think he was that good. I just thought he was a bench celebrator. But then
Yeah.
like last year, he kind of turned me around. And I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? He's at least an average player,
Hmm.
and I'm totally all for that. For a guy who comes in who's undrafted, who turns into like an average player at the
Yeah.
least. So
Absolutely. I mean, he was when I was in six man, the 60 win season. Everybody in the group was miserable when he went to the foul line. But he's the kind of guy who works hard and every year's made an improvement. And he shot like 60% in 2015, and last year shot 80%.
yeah,
You know, that's a good product right there.
that's six man. fun group. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you tell the interesting stories when they first started up, when there was like 8 people in the group, but a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah, a
Anyway,
long time ago, and hopefully more fans now.
yeah. Oh, jeez, doesn't even compare to how many originally there were.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I hope.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
well, 60 win season, sure, there it was crazy, but
yeah.
what's it going to be like this year? I don't know.
Well, when they first started up, I remember they were giving all the local colleges free tickets to
Yeah.
students. And me being a fan at the time, I was like, you know what? How do I get these free tickets? So I did that for my 2 years when I was in college. Me and Garrick,
Where did you go?
I went to state.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Garrick, my buddy Ray, and a couple other guys. We were like, "What's there to do tonight? We go to Hawks games for free." And we used, man, I feel like we went to 30 games a year, 30 plus games a year. It was for those
Well.
2 years. It was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I am getting off track with fandom here.
That's yeah.
So Thrash, we picked up Jared Jack. It'd be
Hmm.
interesting to see how he does returning from the injury. I'm thinking he might just be the third guy on the roster. Um,
Yeah, a locker presence, veteran locker
yeah,
room guy.
especially considering we have like a 22-year-old German point guard who can.
Hmm.
Would you say he can be out of control at times?
Yes, I
Okay.
would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, him and his self promotion and
Oh, jeez.
just, I mean, like off the court and on the court, I guess is what you were saying.
No.
But yeah, he's a character for sure.
DS17, the all gold Audi. That is
Hmm.
gold plated Audi. Just,
Yep.
I, kids these days. Kids these days. But yeah, I think having a veteran presence should help. Though I kind of wonder, Jarrett, if I can remember, at least just think about it. He's kind of like a shoot first point guard, in my opinion. So
Right. Yeah, he's a
yeah,
scoring for
I
sure.
kind of wonder how that's going to work out for us. But
I don't really know much about Delaney other than like like the film or the stuff I've watched. I mean, I assume he's kind of a score first guy too, isn't he? Just based on his numbers, he looks like he puts up points as well. Because there's been talk about him moving to the two. I've seen on the subreddit, and I don't know.
oh boy, I think that's something that's going to be interesting come training camp. Um,
Right.
he has the ability. Him playing point guard to play point guard, much like Jarrett Jack, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see this year in that sense. But another big thing that happened recently when we talk about Chris Humphries is making his Atlanta return.
Right. Did that surprise you? That didn't really surprise me.
It didn't.
Like,
Oh, go ahead.
mhm. No, go. You're
I
good.
was just going to say it didn't surprise me, but at the same time, it kind of did, just because you saw his
Hmm.
usage really kind of go down in the playoffs.
Right. Exactly. And also, we had at that point 25 people on on the roster, and they're just
25?
bringing in more.
Is that it?
It was whatever it was. It was 16, and then we
Yes.
added a 17th, and then we cut Lamar, so now we're at 16. So obviously somebody else is going to go. It's not going to be Chris. It's going to be one of the bigs probably.
I wonder if Muscala. I wonder if this means Muscala's starting.
He seems kind of like the obvious one, don't you think? I mean, his contract, as far as I know, is not guaranteed entirely. Like it's partially guaranteed. So he seems like the obvious choice.
Well,
He's,
the only way I could see him staying is possibly because he can split the two positions because he's quick enough to play the four
right.
and also kind of like tall enough to play the five. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Kind of wonder what if Eddie might be gone. Like, what if he?
That would be so depressing for me. I have such high hopes for him, and he improved. He had a great summer league. I just have, when we drafted him, this gigantic guy, being the Hawks, being so used to terrible rebounding, um, had a lot of high hopes for Eddie, and it hasn't panned out so far. I just keep hoping, keep wishing that he'll turn into something, and
Well,
you know, To see that cut short would be upsetting.
It would, and I agree. His size obviously is one big thing, but the only thing that's kind of like with him, you can only play him at certain times. I don't think he's really quick enough.
Right. Or has the stamina
Yeah,
to. Right.
that's gonna be the hard thing to watch. But on the other thing, on their under end, he's tall, big enough to affect the defense. And I'm not sure. I'm with you, but it seems like
Right.
we have not a couple odd men out on our team. What if we go the other way though, in Hardaway? Because
Wow. You really think Hardaway?
well, I don't know. I'm just
Like in what? Like a trade of some sort?
well, you look at our kind of backcourtish. I
Mm-hmm.
was speaking earlier, and we all want Bembry and whoever we have as shooting guard to kind of do well. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, the spot that I guess Bembry or whoever's going to be playing in, or Torn Prince to an extent, kind of comes down to how Hardaway does if they can beat him
Right.
out. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff up.
Right. I would just, man, I couldn't. I guess the Hawks don't really care, but the upset Twitter people, a first round pick for Tim Hardaway, and then traded him for what I imagine would be a second. And I guess we could move him for a first. I don't really know what his value would be, but obviously we
Yeah,
can trade him for a player. We're trying to move, for, trying to clear roster space. But wow,
I don't think. I don't know. I mean, so who we have gotten instead of Hardaway in the draft? Are we still going to roll with the Kelly Oubre thing?
I think, I think, yeah, Oubre. Brad has always been really high on Bobby Portis, and he was really great in summer league. That would have been another good selection.
It,
Um,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if we would have picked Bobby Portis.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the Hawks aren't about what's on the board; it's about what they want.
giving their
And
guys.
I
Yeah,
think the second that Winslow went off, they were just like, we're cashing in and getting out. Because Winslow was falling and falling, and I was at the draft party, and we were all really excited, and then Heat took him, and it was like, where do we go from here?
oh man, Vince's draft party. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was an interesting draft party because of the trade and everything. I didn't know how to feel. I think a lot of people were excited, a lot of people weren't because
I'd
it was.
love
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'd love to go one time, but
Hmm.
yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure like a lot of fans they saw Bembry in the summer league. They were like, hey, this guy.
Yeah, seriously, and he's a Hawks guy. I've never
Yeah,
thought of Timmy as being a Hawks product. Of a they can move the ball superbly. I mean, and play great defense. Bembry was fantastic on defense. I think he's a perfect fit for this team. And I mean, I never really thought of Timmy until you just said that as being the odd man out. But maybe,
I don't know. It also kind of can fall with Prince too, because
sure.
if Prince can just, I don't know, be okay at the small forward position,
Hmm.
then you could, in theory, bump Bazemore down to the two, or keep Corver at the two. I mean, that's another odd man out kind of at that area.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just just throwing stuff out there.
I mean, did you watch Summer League?
I watched some of it.
So you watched some of it. Oh, so you're a casual fan.
I may
Running the podcast. I'm just kidding.
no, it's fine.
When I watching the summer league, I mean, obviously Prince didn't play as much as Bembry, but I just felt like Bembry was a more solid player overall. Prince has a scoring ability, superb to Bembry. But I think that those two guys going into the season, at least at the start of the season, are going to be about equal in playing time, just because of Bembry's passing ability and his defensive ability. Not that Prince isn't great on defense, but I feel like he is an overall better player. Prince was really sketchy shooting the ball, um, and there's been a lot made about his zone defense that he played at Baylor and how he's going to adjust to the man in the NBA. But
So, of what I did watch of the summer league, I'm with you on possibly the players being given, but I think
Right.
they have their advantages. One, just Prince just has the advantage just because his size and that lack of position, depth at that position that we have.
Sure.
That's kind of, I don't know, where it begins and ends for me.
Hmm.
I mean, I think he's talented because I was watching him play and there were possessions where I was like, oh, he's actually doing well on the ball and off the ball on defense. So to
Right.
me, I don't know, small sample size, but the zone aspect didn't seem to bother me as much or make me think that's going to be a liability. And Bembry, obviously, it's just kind of like, holy crap, this guy is, a Hawks player.
Yeah.
But
What a great steal at 21. I
yeah,
think, hopefully at the end of the year, we're looking at this draft and like, wow, that was a really great draft. Just
well,
because, they got two guys. They may have made that trade, and people are like, why they take Prince at 12? They could have got him at 21, but, we got Bembury, so.
it's true. I don't know. We got, to me, I'm happy with the draft just because, and so far, because you see what you're getting out of both, and it's not like it's kind of like I don't know. It's not like we're getting an Adrian King situation where it's kind of like,
Right. There hasn't been
very
a
similar.
negative,
Yeah,
a glaring negative at least.
yeah, yeah,
Right. And neither of them is a 19-year-old, which, speaking of 19-year-old, I mean, Isaiah, however the hell you say his last name, he
Cordinier,
looked really good. Yeah, Cordinier. I've
Cordinier.
been struggling. Cordinier. Okay.
I,
I've been struggling with that.
yeah.
I've just been calling him Izzy just to make it easier on myself. But he looks really great. He's going to be a great stash. We'll see what happens to him in a year or two. But,
Man,
like,
I was watching him and I was just like, I saw flashes. Like I
oh,
saw
yeah.
the athleticism, but then you saw where it's kind of like he needs to be stashed. But you saw the
Yeah.
flashes.
Yeah, you could see where he has the athleticism and, you know, doesn't mind flying at people to get his himself to the line or to get a shot up.
Yeah,
But going back to the two of them, like I kind of went around the world to say this, but both Bembry and Prince are seasoned college players. They're not young guys. You kind of take them at face value what they are, which is nice. What the potential might not be as high as like a Ben Simmons who's younger, obviously, but it is nice to be able to identify what a guy is capable of right out of college because he's played for 3-4 years in college.
one thing I forgot to mention that really impressed me with Prince, his ability to actually hit free throws, because he seems to be getting to the line a lot. These
Right.
couple games I
Yeah, he
saw.
was like he may have missed one, I think. I'm not really
Yeah,
sure, but
yeah.
it wasn't many.
It was like the first game out. The game he had the big offensive explosion. He hit every single one of his free throws, and I don't know. It seemed like he only missed like one or two combined through the I don't know
Hmm.
3 games he played. And I was just kind of like, okay, he can hit free throws. His jump shot should improve.
Right. Right. And that's going to be important for him because he clearly is a guy who's going to get to the line, very aggressive, you know. And I kind of feel bad for him because everyone's going to basically call him Damari Carroll 2.0 just because of the way he looks and the way he plays and that kind of thing. But I mean, it's pretty apt so far because Damari worked hard, got to the line, and it looks like Prince is pretty much um, same, at least in that regard.
It's true. I think coming out of college, man, it's going to be terrible for him to say that. But coming out, he's ahead of where Damari was.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I mean, was Damari? I don't think Damari was even drafted, and I mean, I'm not positive.
he may not have been. You might be right. Yeah.
Like he wasn't anything for a couple years, and he came on with the Jazz, and sort of started to make waves, and then like Bazemore basically came here and became a max or not max, but a near max guy. So hey, if the Hawks can do that for Damari and Bazemore, I'm sure Prince can get the same out of the franchise and the development that we do here.
Yeah. Man, we're supposed to be talking about the back end of the Hawks roster, and we ended up going on theories of who's getting kicked off.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, we're still like we're not on the bottom. We're like in the middle somewhere. We can go to the bottom. Let's talk about.
Who's on the bottom of the roster, man?
I mean, we talked about Jarrett. He's probably the 15th man. Who else is? I mean, I guess Eddie. Okay, Eddie, and then
Eddie.
Jarrett.
Well, I covered him earlier just because summer league. Who else we got?
Right. Sure.
Muscala. If he's gonna, if Muscala sticks, I don't know. Anyway, Humphreys is back. Um,
Hmm.
move on. Team USA is playing basketball. Uh, so with Team USA, I have a question. So I've seen people comment about like questioning why is Carmelo Anthony starting for this team? Blah blah blah. And I say, does it really? I don't know. I may sound like an arrogant American here, so sorry for anybody that's kind of like out of state. But dead serious question: does it really matter when Team USA like wins points by like 20, wins games by like 20 points?
Yeah. Who's starting? What does it matter? That's the thing. Like, does the starters? Is it? Don't they basically do like an all-star game rotation where most of the guys are going to get solid minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you're up by 20 in the second quarter.
And we all know yeah, seriously, especially the Argentina game. It just kind of like backed up kind of what I thought. I thought this
Right.
because, supposedly America's biggest rival, I'm using massive air quotes right now, is Spain. Is
Right. Spain.
it's Spain because they got them Gasol brothers and they got Ricky Rubio and everyone must have forgot about Rudy Fernandez and we got for whatever reason Serge Ibaka. I don't know how he's on the Spain team. I need to Google this to find out, but
That's a very yeah. What is he doing on the Spain team? Because
but
he's definitely not from. Well, maybe he is. Maybe
maybe
he was
he's
born there and then moved the next day.
I don't know. Well, the same could be said about our USA soccer team, where it's like you're not American.
Right. And we still aren't very good. Well, I mean, solid but not great.
That's a whole other subject. Actually, my brother, we did a soccer pod. He talked about Team USA and like their issues. He went over that. So anybody listening, go take a listen to that. But anyway, back to USA basketball. The
Right.
news
Which
is Marc Gasol isn't playing, so it's now kind of like, well, isn't he their best player?
yeah, who's going to challenge Team USA? Spain doesn't have Gasol or Marc Gasol.
And it's just like I don't know.
Who's going to give them? I mean, they're playing China right now, and it's 42-17 in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's
Like,
yeah.
that's pretty much boilerplate for what's going to happen. I just there's a lot of great international players, but either they're not playing, there's some of them that aren't playing, or there's just not enough on a single team to make a difference to Team USA.
It's I don't know.
Do you get into the international basketball? I mean, like this, like the Olympics basketball.
I get into Olympics basketball just because it's fun to see, at least for me, the one or two players per country that represent their country. But it's just kind of like I like to imagine it as their team and a bunch of
Right.
those guys from the Y playing with them. Like
Exactly.
is Germany in the Olympics? Because I want to see Team Dennis Schroeder.
No, actually, they're not.
Oh, they're not.
Yeah, that's why there's no Hawks in the Olympics, and that's one of the reasons that Germany did not qualify.
We're not.
There's no Germany.
No Brazil. No.
Well, I think Brazil's in, but Thiago's hurt, so I think he skipped. I think Brazil's in.
He's recovering though, and that's another guy. If
Fingers
Thiago
crossed.
gets better, then that heals. For much as people hate Thiago, he's still better than Muscala for what he offers.
Absolutely. I
Um,
mean, yeah.
yeah, but
Is that? Does anybody really think that Moose or Eddie are better? Which, if Thiago goes down again, like he did late last year, we are just doomed behind Dwight. I mean, even Chris can't really. Can he? I guess that's why they signed Chris, don't you think? I mean, when Thiago gets hurt, which is going to happen probably like week 2 or 3 of the season, he's going to go down for the year. Another great
limit
trade in the Hawks. Yankees,
limit
but
his minutes. I don't know. I figure between like White and Tiago, you have solid kind of I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, yeah.
go ahead.
I think you're right. I mean, if they can stay healthy, right, which is the big question always for everybody. If they both can stay healthy, then sure, they can cover a lot of minutes, and Humphreys kind of gets in there on the 4 and the 5. Um, and then hopefully we never have to see Moose play 20 minutes a game, 15
Yeah,
minutes a game.
I don't know. I figure you, they have enough to where they can just throw in stuff to like be like, okay, we just
Sure.
need you to play while Paul Millsap does everything. Or we just need you to get you Eddie to get these rebounds while Mike Scott jacks up threes. Or I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think
It's not going to be that bad to me, but at the same time, I completely understand what you're saying.
so. You think? I mean, you're saying they're going to be bad. I'm sure you've already done predictions of like your see what we're going to do, but
Oh no, I haven't done that
how
yet.
do you think
Um,
you haven't done
I'm
that?
gonna wait. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the team right now because it's hard for me to guess rotations and hard for me to guess what the freaking what our strategy is because we don't have a ton of shooters really anymore. We don't have Dwight there to hopefully at least pull a guy out to mid range, 15 feet anymore. I mean, we don't have Al anymore to do that. So I really
Sure.
don't know. And defensively, the strategy is going to change just because Horford was an amazing perimeter defender, especially considering he's a guy who played center and was able to cover that. Dwight's not going to be able to do that,
Right.
but Dwight also eats up a ton of space. So I don't know how to predict it. Is kind of what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for me personally, it's not going to be. What did we win last year? Like 40.
Is it 44? I think
Was it 44? Was that all? I guess. No, 48. 48 and
48 wins
34.
last year. Oh man.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it was that many, does it? Um, I don't know if we're going to do 48 again. I think it's going to be a dip. And I think a lot of that's going to be the beginning of the year. Because can you imagine how much the offense is going to change with Dwight in the middle? I mean, it's going to take time for that to adjust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's going to take a little bit of time for the offense to get to where night in and night out they're firing on all cylinders because for he's not even remotely
Not really close. Yeah.
the shooter that I also.
Yeah. So I don't know. We were talking about international basketball, but let's go
Sorry,
ahead.
I think dropped out. You're good.
Oh, did I drop out?
I know my Wi-Fi dropped for a moment.
Oh, okay. Thought it was me again. It's going real fine. It's all right, man. Anyway, we're talking about international basketball. I don't know the point, but man, that's what happens when you get to talk Hawks. It's just like we can go on for a while.
Yeah, I
But
could talk Hawks for hours. Absolutely.
but the main reason I wanted to bring you on here, outside of talking Hawks, is there's a TV show that not a lot of people I know watch, but when I tweeted it online, it was like it was like lighting the bat signal in the sky. Um, a lot of shows have recently come out. There's some Netflix show called like Stranger something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I watched that as well. It's another you should check that one out too.
I checked out the first couple episodes. I am
You didn't
intrigued because I'm
you
not.
didn't you didn't you were intrigued. You weren't like sucked into it or anything.
I I I like it. I wasn't sucked into it like the show we're gonna talk about, but I really liked it because I don't know. I don't know what's going on, and I want to keep watching to find out. Because
Well, the show that we're going to talk about Do you know what's going on either in that show?
Well, okay, I don't. So, guys, to stop the pretenses here, we're talking about a
Sure.
show on USA Network called Mr. Robot. I don't know if you've heard of this show, but Mr. Robot is wonderful, and at the same time, there are times I have no idea what's going on.
Absolutely. It is a mind F
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah. Accurate.
Right? I mean, that's the best way to describe that show. It's but it's also really cool. So obviously, you watched the first season, and the beginning of the first season, just really neat how accurate and detailed like all the techie stuff was, and the programming and everything. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
I totally
and
bought the hacks.
right,
I
yeah,
totally bought it.
it didn't feel fake or forced like it so often is. Um, and Remy Malik is amazing. It's a very good show. Just for for people, I guess, like myself, the nerds and the techies, but also I think anybody who likes a thriller or a show that requires you to actually think while you're watching it is definitely a fan of Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot, Remy Malik in it plays Elliot. We could go ahead and say he's crazy. Is he crazy?
I mean, I think the government would call him crazy. Yes,
Okay.
I think that would satisfy the government to categorize him as schizophrenic
Yeah.
and multiple personalities.
Yeah. Definitely watching the first season, you're going along with it. And the cool thing is you're going along with it and it's just kind of like, oh, okay, this is the life of, just kind of a lonely guy, lonely person. And then,
Sure.
you get into it and there's that episode, like the opening scene of the first episode hooked me. There's that episode where he's trying to get the guy out of jail and you find the trouble in the trunk of his car
Hmm.
and just his relationships with people. And you're led to believe, because it's all through his point of view, what he is seeing, and you don't question
Right.
anything.
Yeah. Which when you're watching it, it's like he's a narrator, but you can't trust the narrator because maybe he doesn't know what's going on. So like you have to think while he's thinking, and it's very multi-layered.
Yeah, and that's something I really love about it, because I don't know, like, to me, I trust it, like, like you do any other show. You trust it for the
Sure.
first, I don't know, 8 or so episodes, half a season, and then it's just kind of like, wait a second, because you get to that point. Um, you're like, wait a second. He's a drug addict. That's another thing, but he's a responsible drug addict.
Yeah, I could say
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
he's a methodical drug addict. He knows what he's doing at least.
yeah, um,
He's not a stupid man.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, no, he's not stupid at all. When they explain when they explain his drug tendency, I'm like, good on you, Mr. Robot. This show is like, I've never considered that. Like, everybody I just kind of assumed that took the drug. I was like, well, maybe,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Right.
And hmm,
So season 2 just started.
yeah,
They're on episode 3 was this past week.
episode 3. Yes,
Right.
that's
Which episode 1/3. I mean, they call it one. Technically, they call it one.
it's episode 3, but episode 1 was a two-parter, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. They like to take. I mean, every facet of that show likes to screw with you, honestly. Because if you look at it on IMDb, the first 2 episodes are episode 0 and 0. They're both 0.
Yeah, that really screwed with me when I was trying to look up the episodes to watch.
Yes,
Also,
when I was definitely not torrenting
yes,
said
yes,
episodes, when I was definitely not downloading them illegally, that didn't confuse me
yes,
because
yes,
I of course found it on some site where you pay.
yes,
Which I
yes.
want to talk about that. So for people who are watching the show in the most recent episode, and this isn't a spoiler or anything, but did you notice the Alexa plug during the most recent episode?
The Alexa plug.
You know what Alexa is, right? It's Amazon's like the little thing that they have. It's
Oh,
like
right.
Siri. But
Right.
like you put it in your house and you ask it stupid questions that you could just look at your phone and
Right.
answer.
Right. Yeah.
So
Okay.
the lady was like, "What time is it, Alexa?" And she's holding a phone in her hand. And I was like, "This is the most forced advertisement because Mr. Robot is, I don't know if it's on Prime or they recently picked up on Prime. I think they recently picked up on Prime, and that's part of the deal. Was like, hey, squeeze Alexa in here,
Well,
do some forced advertisement. Which can I continue to rant just for 1 second?
go ahead. Go
Which
ahead.
is funny to me because if you remember in the first episode, his whole spiel about advertisement in America and how we're being force fed products and everything, and then here we are in season two, and I can't tell if it should be funny or if it's supposed to be serious. You know what I mean? Because it's an advertisement for a product which they're associated with the company now.
What if it's?
But at the same time, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. What if it's tongue in cheek? Because the
That's
girl.
what I'm saying. Because what if it is tongue in cheek? Because they are Mr. Robot, and it's a show about
Well,
at least part of it's about consumerism, if you will.
one of the most kind of genius things to me about the show, just to the point where you wouldn't even think about it, but if you remember, the first part of the first episode was leaked online, and I thought it was just like a whatever link, but leak. But then I realized
Hmm.
they actually put it out there Sunday night, part
Yeah.
one, and I was like, wait a second, this totally goes into the show about a show about hacking and leaks, and the show was
Hmm.
leaked onto YouTube, quote unquote.
Right.
And
Hmm.
I don't know. That's why I question everything, like even the Alexa plug.
You have to.
Yeah, even the Alexa plug.
Right.
It's kind of like, well, the person who uses it isn't in relation with the main characters.
True.
So I don't
Yet.
know. Okay, yes,
Yeah. Right.
we'll see. But
So many things we can't say, so not to spoil for the people. But I
man,
mean,
yeah,
if you haven't looked it up, I mean, just you got to watch the like. If you're a techie in the lightest sense, I'm sure you've probably already seen it. But if you haven't, you have to watch it, right? I
I
mean,
think if you just like good shows in general, you have to see it
sure, yeah.
just because there's a lot of stuff, especially like the first season. There's some good plot points. There's
Oh
very
yeah,
good story. Um,
and great directing and cinematography.
yeah,
Some of the
cinema.
best on TV.
I actually
It's
like the music too.
oh, and the music is
I
fantastic.
I love
Absolutely, everything about that show is fantastic. It
so
really is.
yeah. So man, you're not going to throw up a bunch of Adderall pills and try to eat them again, are you?
Right. That was that was very disgusting for me. I was
Yeah,
pretty
I saw that and I was like, oh, but I kept watching.
and it was like grits or something
Yeah,
that he
like
was
oatmeal.
shoving back into, yeah, or oatmeal that he's shoving back into himself with the
That
Adderall.
was, oh man.
Right.
I
I used to take Adderall as a kid, not for fun,
yeah.
and I can relate to some of those things. Not as much though. He was tripping.
Well, okay, one thing that I can relate to on the show is I am a I've seen every single episode of Seinfeld, and there's a character in there who talks all about Seinfeld. And every
Hmm.
single episode that his friend is describing, I know the rest of the plot of that episode before he finishes the description. So I'm just
Right.
kind of like, oh my goodness, I remember this episode. This is when blah blah blah. But let me ask you, do you think that character is real?
I was wondering if you could ask that because I think I saw you talking about that on Twitter or somebody.
Yeah,
It may have been you.
it was
Um,
probably.
I don't think so. I mean, who is real in that show? Can we be sure that everyone is real? The only ones that I think I can confirm are real, in my personal opinion, is Angela, his friend, right? Because we've seen her outside of him, you know. But everyone else, are they? you
Any
know?
new
Oh yeah,
character,
for sure.
I question.
Right. And this person you talk about in particular never interacts with anybody else.
Yes,
The main protagonist,
with
um,
Elliot, yes,
with
and
just with Elliot, and
eats eats every day with him. Like,
right, yeah, during the yeah, in the first couple episodes, right, yeah, and that we've seen so far, yeah, he's eating every day with him, and part of his routine.
Yeah, like
But
it's yeah. He's like every single day he eats with them, and every single day he goes watches the basketball game. Which that's another thing I wanted to talk, not talk about, but it's like when I saw that, I was like, I don't know.
you were like, what? You just
Do,
because
do,
they can't see you on the camera, but you like turn your head like,
do people actually go down to the park to watch other people play basketball?
I've never lived in a city where that would happen,
Okay.
um, but I don't think so.
And
And do
then
they actually cheer them on?
yeah, and
Like there was people that were hype and stuff about
yeah, and
basketball?
what you see them wear, I'm just kind of like, I don't know if a guy playing basketball would be wearing this, or especially
Like
that first.
what specifically?
They
Like
seem to
jean
be,
pants?
yeah, well, they seem to be wearing a bunch of stuff that you'd see guys wear in like a TV commercial.
Sure.
Not even a sports TV commercial, like like people talking about Target, like come shop at Target or come shop at Old Navy or something, and it's like they seem to be wearing those type of clothes. Or I'm
Are
like,
you saying that Mr. Robot's creator Sam Esmail is not up to date on his basketball? What happens at the court? You know, he doesn't know what's going on.
well, and there was also a scene where they had a tie up, like a loose ball kind of tie up, and
Sure.
it happened twice in a game, and I say that never happens in pickup basketball. I do kind of like how they made them bad at the first episode because it's kind of like when they were just bricking shots. I was like, thank you, because this is actually accurate in pickup basketball.
Right.
Not everyone shoots like Steph Curry.
Exactly.
So
Lots of
yeah,
missing and then pretending like you're good.
yeah, lots of missing.
Like it's not your fault that you just missed 3 shots in a row or something. Right.
Oh, geez, I play with guys. They miss 7, 8, and
I was like, what's wrong with this ball?
lots of slow dribble hesitation moves.
That slow dribble hesitation.
It's hard to move as
Nice.
fast as you see guys in NBA in real life. Like if I were to go to
Well,
between the
yeah.
legs, I'd
Right.
probably be going at half speed as you see like I don't know Jeff or
As Eddie
yeah,
Tavares.
yeah, pretty much.
Half speed as Eddie Tavares.
Like
That would be me at least. That would be me.
then you have um, guys that are like 6 feet that are considered big men, quote unquote, and they're
Right.
the centers.
Playing power forward.
Yeah, that's real life pickup hoops.
So
Yeah,
that's
real
maybe
life.
one aspect of Mr. Robot that's not perhaps accurate. Maybe he didn't nail the whole court scene quite accurately.
Well, what if it's all in Elliot's head? Um,
Exactly. Yeah. Elliot doesn't know sports, so I mean, this is how he envisions it
yeah,
looking.
I
Wow. That just messed with my head, actually,
yeah
because that
yeah
could be possible.
I don't know. Yeah, and you notice they started to play better when he started cheering. Like that's when we saw the dunk. Somebody dunked the ball, and that's when he was like got up and cheered. And
Right, sure.
I don't know, man.
Right, when he was having his happy Adderall time.
That
Right.
okay, that whole episode scene and episode of that was just it was
Fantastic.
wonderful to me because you saw the personality change and
Right.
everything. Okay,
Happy
so
Elliot was creepier than
oh,
sad Elliot.
jeez, yeah. So can you explain to me how he got the he threw up the pills? Because I did not understand that. Was he actually kidnapped, or what, what happened?
Well, right, right. So for those who don't follow the show, it's he's got this guy that's we call it like a like another personality of his that controls him or whatever at
Uh,
times,
Very. What's
right?
that movie that was exactly like this? But
Yeah, Fight
Fight
Club.
Club, yes, exactly like Fight Club.
Yes, and there's a lot of references in the Mr. Robot that Fight Club fans would get, more than just that plot line. But also we just spoiled Fight Club for somebody if they're paying a lot of attention with what's happening. But that's okay.
It's not a
It's
spoiler.
too late for
It's
you.
what 20 years later. You should have seen it by now.
Yeah, right. 20 years. Um, but yeah, so he's got this alter character. He's got double personality, sure, who takes over, and what I assume that whole scene was Mr. Robot tricking him, right? Into thinking that that was happening so that he would force himself to throw up. So he throws up and he tells him, "I control you," blah blah blah, and he and then he goes ahead and eats the vomit. So eats the Adderall. No, you're not buying that?
No. I agree with you. I'm just like shaking my head, thinking of that scene. Like, oh god, that was gross.
Yeah, because with the scene, he's like they're like putting cement down his throat,
Yes, which I thought I was
and
like, I've never seen that before.
hell of a torture.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Would it turn hard inside of you?
Well, it would
Does it have to be
suffocate you.
oxygenated?
It would
Yeah, it
definitely
would suffocate you,
suffocate
right?
you.
Because
Yeah.
it's just yeah, right. That's right. I didn't think about it suffocating you. I was just thinking about it. Would it become solid? Don't know.
God.
But anyway, so yeah, that's what I assumed. He was just imagining that, but who knows, really? I hope at the end, like, there's a whole season where they explain every little thing, what was real and what wasn't, just so I can have some clarity when the show is, when the series finale.
Um,
Speaking of good shows,
Go ahead.
speaking of good shows, you watch BoJack?
I haven't started it
Other,
yet. I watched season one. There's just so much on TV right now.
there is a lot of good shows to watch. Yeah, I
Mr.
got you.
Robot, What is that show called? Stranger
Stranger Things,
Stranger Things. I'm on episode
right?
4 of that.
Right.
I watch Ballers, guys. I'm sorry. Um, I watch Ballers. There's just so much on TV right now that it's hard for
There
me
really
to.
is.
When uh, James, everyone knows him here. He
Hmm.
tweeted me saying, "Have you seen BoJack season 3 yet?" I'm like, "When did it come out?"
Yeah, when was season one? That's the thing I love about Netflix. Like, I really wish Mr. Robot had been picked up. I think Netflix like was one of the first uh, programs that like approached or that Mr. Robot, the producer approached, and
Yeah.
they wanted it to be on. I think it just didn't pan out, but I wish it had been on there because what you think about the thing that's great about Netflix is instantly an entire season is on. You don't have to wait
Well,
weeks to
and
watch a show.
I was gonna say, and I completely forgot to mention, freaking uh, Luke Cage. I don't know if you watch the Marvel shows on there. Luke Cage is about to come out in September, so it's like
Luke Cage
it's a
is on. They're having a Marvel show on Netflix. Oh, that's one of the first, I guess, the new
I don't know.
shows.
Did you ever watch Daredevil or Jessica Jones?
No, I couldn't. I never got into it, but I know it's like a Netflix exclusive now, or no?
Yes, it is.
It is okay.
Um,
Yeah, they're trying to like pick up all the Marvel stuff.
it's I I extremely enjoyed those two shows, and I am anxious to see what the
I'm
Luke
not into
Cage is.
superheroes personally.
Oh
Like
man,
the Marvel movies, I was like, honestly, and that's terrible. But people hate me. But like, I don't know. It's just nothing. It doesn't feel original to me.
all right,
Even
guys.
even, even with the new
Send your
shows.
hate to Thrash. It wasn't me that
Yeah.
said it. Wasn't me
Yes,
that
find me on
said it.
Reddit and complain. I'll be sure to read all of your complaints or on the Twitter and yell at me there.
So, in all honesty, people say I hate them because I always trash talk them, but is it really hate if I voluntarily watch every single movie and show? No, I don't hate them. I just kind of like point out their flaws. So, Jeff, I could totally see what you're saying.
Right.
They're interesting to me, but it's just, quite frankly, a lot of the movies suck. Like,
Yes.
a lot of them like are really bad, and
Hmm.
we want to, kind of like watch this fantasy kind of reality or whatever. This comic book world where it's like, oh man, that's neat, but in reality, a lot of the movies suck. Batman versus Superman, I didn't think was good at all.
Right.
You think of the old Marvel movies, like the old Hulk, or I don't know, Ghost Rider, or heck, I think the X Men series is. I don't think the X Men movies are that great, but
Well, they've come a long way since then. Since Disney has bought them,
yeah.
they've improved, dramatically. Like I can actually stomach a Marvel movie, whereas Ghost Rider,
Oh boy.
God, there's no way. I've seen that once, and I'll never watch it again.
Oh, we didn't even get to talk about my favorite one. was going to say Blade, but I don't know if people realize that's a Marvel movie.
Is it? Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that.
Right.
Blade, Wesley Snipes. Anyway, we got off the Mr. Robot train.
Sure. Yeah, it diverted us to talk about other things.
Man, we were just sitting here. I I need a movie podcast. I need to have a movie and TV show podcast.
Right.
That'd be
Those are
my
my favorite things. I love basketball. I love the Hawks, but yeah, movies and TV, because you can delve into that forever.
yeah.
Especially Mr. Robot with its complexities. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask real quick. Craig Robinson, real or fake?
Craig Robertson.
Um, Robertson.
Who I know exactly who that is. Who is that?
Um, the guy on the basketball court with the dog who's trying to get Elliot to join his.
Oh, Craig Robertson. Right. That's his real name,
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what he's
not his
called.
character's name. Sure,
Not,
I understand.
okay, sorry, I don't know his character's name in the show.
Yeah, I thought, I don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, I just think of the guy from The Office. I can't look at him and not think of the goofy warehouse manager from The Office.
Well, I think of that or any hot tub time machine.
Yeah, Hot Tub, right? Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen those movies, but I know. Yeah, I know who's in those.
You're not gonna see
Um,
much.
I think he's real. I think he's real only because he relates to Elliot, but maybe that's why he's not real.
I
Because like he has his dead wife and that whole,
I'm with
he
you.
can relate.
They gave him too much of a backstory for me to think that he's not real. So I think he's real. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, dead wife, and I would say threatening the other guys, but then you wouldn't know if that's Elliot or not. But
right. Because we're not going to say too much, but we know that
yeah,
Elliot has a past of
yeah,
of doing things that he doesn't know about. At
yeah.
least initially that he doesn't know he did.
It's that's another fascinating thing. It's kind of like how you have like when you see those commercials, of the guy talking to like a little devil and the guy talking to a little angel, like those little
Hmm.
things on TV. That's kind of like Elliot. Like, 'cause he has an alter ego where he can be violent and forceful, and another one is like, skittish and
Exactly.
timid. Um,
That's a very good point. I never really thought about it that way. That's absolutely true that he has those like a good and bad side, and he
yeah,
is kind of caught in the middle of those two things.
yeah,
Where he's trying to struggle to figure, he's trying to get to the good side, obviously, because the good side would be, where he's not a sociopath.
um, yeah. Duck. I could speak Mr. Robot. We've been on this for a while, so I want to go ahead and
Sure.
get off. Well, I could talk
Yeah,
Mr.
it's
Robot
been
forever.
an
So,
hour almost.
oh wow. Oh, man. All right, guys, you're getting a special, super long podcast for you next week. I was asked a question though, Hawks question by Sam Hodge asks, create a team of 12 using only people from the Hawks with how good they were during their tenure with us.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to delve into the history, like way on back. That's gonna be hard for me.
I probably just want to go back to show John 2008 when they first made the playoffs because there isn't really anybody I can think of.
A best of,
Uh,
I mean,
I guess a team of 12. I guess if you went
okay.
the past 10 years, like you had a
You want to do like position? You want to start at point guard, and we'll just go on down. So we gotta do three of each. Assume, right? Do you want to do it that way?
no, because it's
That's 15.
yeah,
Math.
yeah, no.
6, 9, 12, 2, 2,
Two,
5. Sure, we'll just pick them at random then.
it's
I'll let you start.
well, obviously, if we're doing. Yeah, I think it'd be more fun if we did like the last 10 years, but we do history.
Yeah,
Obviously,
sure. No, go ahead, do it.
I was gonna
That'll
say,
be better.
obviously Dominique Wilkins won, but if that's the question, but I don't know. Let's do last 10 years.
Yeah, let's go ahead. We'll do last time.
Okay, so point guards, Jeff T. Schroeder.
And then
Um,
and then what? Mike Bibby.
uh, was
Would Bibby be the third?
is Kirk was Kirk Heinrich his first kind of like tenure with us. Is he
Yeah,
better than
was he
Mike
better
Bibby?
than? Oh man.
I think he may have been than Bibby.
But Bibby, see, when I think of Bibby, I always think of like the photos of him and Josh and Joe, like they, or I guess, and then Al, but like they were like the three. You know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
was Bibby like really that good outside of shooting three pointers for us?
Probably
Couldn't,
not.
couldn't defend his position. Um, he was a setup guy, but really, how hard is it to set up when you're running an offense that's purely ISO? Now, granted, I truly believe he's a good passer, but we ran ISO offense. So his turnovers were down, so of course, him not being able to.
Or,
Now, go ahead.
or what about Royal Ivy? He's got to be, he's got to be on there. Royal Ivy, or T. Maybe T. Lou's the third.
I would. I think Kirk Heinrich was.
You think Heinrich?
When I think of Heinrich at his best for us, Heinrich at his
Sure.
best was his first year here, and
And,
that was the year, if you remember. I went up to say we played Orlando in the playoffs and we actually beat them, and it was the first time I want to say like a decade where I was like, holy crap, a point guard that can defend his own position, and
yeah.
he did a heck of a job on Jameer Nelson. Um, he really limited Jameer, and he was killing him on both ends of the floor. As odd as that is to say. I don't know. That's
Yeah, I guess I can agree with that one. You know, because the competition isn't very strong once you get past Dennis
yeah,
and Jeff,
yeah, um,
right?
yeah.
I mean, because when I think about that, I don't think about guys that were like 6 months with us or one season. I think about a guy who was a few years, like a Bibby or like Heinrich.
That's true. Um,
So shooting guards,
okay, Joe Johnson. Uh,
obviously, yes. Joe,
um,
Jamal Crawford.
Jamal.
So this is an interesting one because you got Joe Johnson, Jamal Crawford, Kyle, obviously fantastic, but also you get into Josh Childress, maybe. I mean, I don't know if anybody would call him better than Kyle, but
No,
he's
I
got to
understand
be
what you're
in
saying.
consideration.
Uh,
Point guard's pretty straightforward, but once you get into shooting guard, there's
um,
like 4 or 5 guys there.
so Kyle, I put Kyle over Childress, and I'd put
So,
Jamal because Jamal had a heck of a year with us.
so you think Joe, and then Jamal, and then or do we? Oh, so we're doing 12, so we got to also think about that too. It's not 15,
Well,
so
okay. What if we do the 3-3, the 15, and then we just take off at the end?
awesome. Yeah, that works fine. Yeah, let's do it that way.
Um, I don't
So yeah,
know. I don't know,
I agree with
Jamal.
that.
I don't know. Would you? Uh,
You don't think Jamal Crawford's better than, or at least at that time, for us?
well,
Ah, well, that's true. Kyle was a big part of the
I'm about
60
to say
wins.
Kyle, the 60-year win season was really good.
Okay,
Um,
so we're not necessarily ranking them either. He just said,
okay, yeah,
"Who's your?"
yeah.
So Kyle and Jamal may be interchangeable,
Well, yeah, definitely those two. Joe,
and then
Jamal.
and then Joe.
Okay, so small forward, Damari. Marvin? Would we? I mean,
He was with us for so long; it's hard not to.
yeah, and you think of what we've had at that position.
Right. Tracy McGrady,
Yeah,
Hawks legend, T
Hawks
Mac.
legend. Deshaun Stevenson. Uh,
I like I liked Stevenson. He wasn't better than
nah, he wasn't. Yeah.
anybody else, but
Okay, so Marvin, Damari.
and Bays.
This is just an exception, so we can create those shooting guards that we wanted on the team. Because Kyle played shooting guard. I mean, small forward. I want to say the year with his first year here, he played small forward. I want to say Kyle
I
did.
think you're right. Right.
Because we had Deshaun on the team. But I don't know,
Who's?
Marvin.
I'm sorry to get off track. Who starts at point guard for us? We're just going back to 2015-16 with Jeff and Dennis.
Got to be Jeff, in my opinion, just because
Okay.
Jeff is at his best. Is Dennis as good as Jeff at Jeff's best? Because at Jeff's best, he's a top 8, top, point guard in the
I'm
league.
with you on that.
Yeah.
I think Dennis is
Now, granted,
flashier.
yeah, Flash.
Jeff is more consistent. I trust Jeff more. I can't believe I'm saying those words, honestly.
Jeff,
But
at the least, he actually had tricks. Like he's a better shooter than Dennis. That's
Dennis has improved. But
Dennis has
yeah,
improved,
I
but
agree.
Jeff shot, I want to say 40% from three or something like that. Which
What was? Uh, yeah, but Dennis was massively improved from three at least last year.
yes, he improved. I don't know. I Jeff also, he isn't just quick, but he actually he has an assortment of hesitations and
Right.
crossovers to get to the basket, whereas Dennis, to me, relies on just pure speed.
I
Um,
agree with that 100%. You won't.
yeah,
Dennis won't break a guy's ankles the way
yeah,
Jeff Teague will.
yeah. Jeff has, he tries to save his athleticism, and
Right.
Jeff will dunk
Dennis is
on
gonna have to do
you.
it
Jeff
eventually.
will dunk on you.
Jeff will dunk.
Jeff will dunk on you during those times.
Do you think he's more ferocious than Dennis? More of a competitor?
The only way we can tell is what we see on the court. And
Right. Well, yeah.
Jeff's younger years, you saw that from him.
Hmm.
Whereas, now, I blame Ray Allen. Ever since that time he dunked and screamed at Ray Allen, he kind of, you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
And since then we haven't, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
So, do we settle on small forwards? Damari Bays and
Marvin, Damari, Bazemore, I guess.
right. We're just creating the Joe Johnson Hawks
Oh,
at this point,
oh my
and the Bud Hawks All Stars. So power forward.
power
Um,
forward. Um,
Obviously Millsap is number one.
well, yeah, okay. Paul Millsap it's Paul Millsap is making the team, but
Well, I mean, he's a starter and one of the stars.
it's not even a question.
No,
Who's behind?
Josh.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but
I mean,
the lockout year, Josh's lockout year was the greatest year ever. For me.
really? Yeah.
That was the year where everyone was kind of like, maybe we could build this team around Josh Smith, because you remember that was I want to say when Al got hurt the second time, and he relied on Josh through the entire season. It was like all of a sudden he had a post for him, and he was a point forward. He
The
still
first
took
time.
he still took. Was it the first time?
Second time was the year we had the down year. Bud's first year. We talking about his pecs?
We
Pec injury?
played. No, we didn't. No, the second time he tore it. No, wait, yeah,
It
you're
was the
right.
year that we had
It
the
was
down
okay.
year. We went to the
His first
playoffs.
year. You're
Yeah,
right.
first. Yeah.
Okay, Millsap. It was okay. Millsap was on that team. No, you're
Hmm.
right. You're right.
Because I remember that was it was devastating. But Josh stepped up and we were like, and yeah, it was. We could build a team around Josh Smith. Good lord, we were
And
stupid.
then we lost to the Celtics in 6 games.
Oh yeah.
And Rondo got suspended for a game. We still lost. Uh,
It's crazy how fast things changed.
I
I
remember
mean,
that
eight
was.
years.
Remember that was the game Josh attempted a behind the back dunk and blew it. But I'm sure if we're talking about blown dunks, we all remember the Heat series where he attempted that between the legs dunk against the Miami Heat in 2009 or something like that.
Well, I don't remember that.
Oh my goodness, my friend! I'm going to show you the video.
You linked me that. I may have seen
I'll,
it, but I just don't off the top of my head. I don't remember him.
I'll
Why would he
send
even
it to
do
you.
that? How stupid! Like,
Okay, first of all, who are you asking this?
yeah, I'd rather him shoot a three than try to do a between the legs dunk in the playoffs. Like, so who's our third power forward though? That's where we get interesting. Sheldon Williams.
Trying- Mike Scott. Um,
Oh God, it can't
I,
really be. It
yeah,
can't really
it
be
can't
Mike
be that.
Scott, can it? I mean, it could be.
I, Ivan Johnson, Mike
I,
Scott.
mm,
Would
Mike's,
Mike
it's got to
Scott
be
was?
Mike over Ivan.
Yeah, Mike was better than Ivan.
Can we just say the power forward, the third spot's not going to be one of our final cuts? He's not going to make it. Whoever the third
Well,
power forward is.
yeah, I'm trying to think who's on that team. Mike Scott. Um, who's that?
I'm cheating. I'm actually looking at basketball reference to our teams here.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's why I
Solomon
may
Hill,
know.
Joe Smith, um,
Joe Smith.
Joe Smith. Trying to think. I'm trying to go back to my history of Hawks
Can I
players.
just be honest? We have had some shitty basketball teams. Just at positions. At particular positions. Like, other than Millsap and Josh Smith, who have we had at power forward? Mike freaking Scott. Was
Mike's.
Ivan Johnson really that great, in your opinion? Everyone's so high on that guy. He was okay to me. He was a good, like an okay role player
I thought Ivan
for 1 year.
Johnson. People like him because he was an intimidator, but
Right.
and naturally everyone
Which I
loves
can get
that.
behind.
But I don't know. I didn't. What did he do well? He was a decent defender. He was a decent defender.
He was an intimidator
He
as
was an
well,
intimidator.
probably.
He was. Yeah, was he a good rebound? He wasn't a good rebounder. I mean, he was above average.
Average.
Like
Sure.
he wasn't as good as Humphreys at rebounding. Do you think? No.
Hmm.
But his offensive game is what drove me crazy about Ivan Johnson because
Oh, yeah.
he followed the Josh Smith method and he would always jack up jumpers. He'd back up to about 20 feet, jack up jumpers a lot. Ivan did.
Hmm.
Of course, there's those random games where he dunk on somebody, but he just
If we can pick a player to put on like the coaching staff of this imaginary team, I want Elton Brand at power forward slash
oh,
coach.
Elton Brand.
Obviously, he wouldn't play on this team, but he could be an assistant coach because I loved Elton when he was here
I
for
felt like
about two
Elton
years.
saves our butts, but didn't we have him play center? Or am I thinking?
Well, okay, I'm just telling you what he was listed at on
Okay.
Basketball Reference. It's power forward, so
Yeah.
this is what I'm going by.
Well, we may need to save him for center because I can't think of any backup.
Wow,
Uh,
Zaza and Pachulia.
Never mind. I just thought about that. I was like,
Al Horford would obviously
Horford.
be the starter. We can't
Okay,
put Dwight
Horford.
starting, can we? I mean, can he even be on the team?
He's
Because
technically on the team, right?
I mean, I guess we haven't seen him play yet.
That's true. It's got to be past him
I
yet,
guess.
so we're not
Sure.
including this
Okay, I'm
season.
with that.
Okay.
Sure.
So Horford, Zaza, and who's the third? Um, Elton.
Pero?
Uh,
No, there's got to be better. We got to do better than this.
I thought Pero wasn't bad,
No,
but yeah, I'm with you.
he had bad moments.
He had bad moments. He also had good moments, but I also felt he had
Oh
unheralded.
man, I was at I think it was Game 3 against the Pacers. No, it wasn't. It was the game we could have won the series. Game 6.
I was at Game 6 as well.
It went back to Indy, right, for Game 7. My memory's terrible.
Yeah, went back to games.
Was it
Games.
Game 6 that he missed the last second shot, or was it game? It was a different game.
He may
Whatever
have,
game I was
but I
at.
distinctly remember Game 6. That was the game that Mike Scott dunked on somebody huge. It was like a huge dunk. Then I remember Lou Williams throwing the game away the last like 2 minutes.
Right.
Where
Yeah, you're right.
he kept throwing turnover over after turnover and after turnover. And that was the point I was like,
Hmm.
if Lou just didn't do that, it yeah, we could have won that series. Lou
Oh
threw the
yeah,
game away for us in those last like 5 minutes.
we could have won that series, no problem, honestly. But we just kind of let it slip through little moments, and obviously lose 2 minutes that you were talking about. But also just little missed shots and things.
Yeah.
That's
Like
how basketball is.
Lou didn't. If you look at it statistically, he supposedly statistically didn't have a bad game. I just distinctively remember there's like 5 or 2 or whatever minutes it was. He threw the game away for us. I was like, oh my god.
Sure, the kind of game where he, at the end of the third quarter, he was like 4-5, and at the end of the fourth, he was 10-15. Not a bad stat game, but he kind of let it slip.
Well, he was getting
So,
destroyed. He was getting destroyed by Evan Turner, and also I remember him just throwing cross court turnovers, and I was like, but
center position. Are we good with that? Zaza,
Elton,
Al,
Elton's got to be
and
my
Dwight.
third one. Oh, are we including Dwight?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Pero, you said was your third.
Elton. I'm putting Elton as my third.
You're gonna put Elton on there.
I'm putting Elton as my
Okay.
third.
Okay. So who are our cuts here?
Whoever the third power forward.
Obviously. So yeah, we don't need that guy.
Um,
Point guard. Do we ditch Heinrich to get down
is Heinrich
to
better than Bazemore as the third small forward? Is Bazemore better?
Heinrich?
Well, I'm thinking.
Heinrich?
Okay, Heinrich at his height, was he better than Bazemore at his height at small forward?
You really hate Bazemore, don't you?
I don't hate him.
You have something against Bazemore. You think he's a very average player. I mean,
Was he?
I,
He
I
wasn't that good at. He's a good player, but was he?
who's starting at small forward for us?
Got just got.
Is it Damari?
It's got to be. Who's a better defender between us?
Or is it Josh Smith? Josh and Paul.
Damari. It's got to be Damari.
Right, Damari and then Paul at the forward to start.
So Jeff, Joe, Damari, Paul, Horford.
Paul.
That's 5.
Horford.
And then you have Dennis. What do we say? Kyle or Jamal?
Kyle.
I'm putting Kyle. Marvin, Josh, and Zaza. That's 10. So we just need 2 more.
Right.
And
What about Jamal? You included Jamal, right?
it's got to be.
So we have 2 spots.
You
We have
got
Heinrich, Jamal,
Bazemore
was
and
Bazemore,
Elton.
and Elton Brand.
We're not even going to attempt the
Power forward position because it's just so. I'm gonna be honest with you. Mike Scott better than Elton Brand.
really.
To the team, was Elton more important to? Think about Mike Scott's 2013 or 14 playoffs. That 6 threes in a row against the Pacers. Did Elton ever do anything that important for us?
True. However, I've seen Mike Scott be out of positions. Well, at least that year, out of position on defense
Right.
so many times. Now, granted, this past year, to me, I thought it was his best year, just because he was just
Oh,
solid,
absolutely. He had a huge
solid
year.
everywhere.
Right, he got off the molly and he was a much better player.
He was able to see one basket. No,
That's why he was missing so many.
yeah, he was
There
able
were
to
so
see
many
one
baskets. That explains a
Um,
lot. All right, so fine. We won't talk about Scott. You can have your Elton Brand. Do you want him to be in the 12?
You have me thinking now because I'm like
Okay, so
on
between
both
these
ends.
5,
On both ends, because Elton was huge on defense, but was he as good on both ends to equate out to? You know what? It's not about who's better. We already have guys on our team that can play defense. At least 7.
you need a veteran presence. Does that matter to our imaginary basketball team?
This is tough, guys. This is a tough one.
I don't want Jamal Crawford on this team because we have a Kyle Korver. What's Jamal Crawford to us if we have Kyle Korver?
True, and if you do that, you at least can have Bazemore switch positions too. So
Sure, I'd rather have Baze than Jamal.
yeah.
Are you keeping Kirk Heinrich?
Well, you sometimes need that veteran. No, I'm kidding. What are we? So is that 13? No. Is that 11? No, 10.
We're at 11. If we include Baze, yeah.
We're at 11.
Yes. So you want a 12th between Heinrich, Crawford, if you want to continue to consider him Scott and Brand. You pick, honestly.
It's just that
This team's
that
not going
year,
to move the ball at all.
Heinrich's first year was just so good to me because they were, I don't know, he was so great on
I
defense,
would
and he
I
was
would like to have Heinrich too, just because at least those years, maybe a more consistent, even than Jeff and Dennis, a guy off the bench.
because yeah, and because I don't know if you remember, but that year they beat the Magic. That was the year supposed that Jamal Crawford had the huge offensive games. But
Hmm.
I distinctively remember we were playing a game. Jameer Nelson was shut down, and the second we took out Heinrich and put Jamal Crawford on him, Jameer scored 20 in a quarter, or something like that. I forgot
Jameer
which game
scored
it
20
was.
and a quarter.
It was something ridiculous where it was like he had like 12
Wow.
straight points or something like that, and I was like,
Right.
put Heinrich back in. Um, because it's like Jamal would score what, say 20 points, but for every 20 points he'd give up 18, and I, I don't know. I have to go with Kirk.
Okay. I can agree with that.
Anyway, Sam, that answers your question after much deliberation.
After 20 minutes of very thorough
Thorough
breaking
thoughts
it
of the
down,
last 10 years.
right, of the
Oh
last
man,
10 years, it's probably not what he wanted, but
yeah,
I
it's
can't, can you, I can't just, my knowledge isn't enough to be able to do it of the history of the team. That would be very difficult.
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Jeff, this has been really fun. Excuse me, Thrash. This has been really fun
Yeah,
talking
come
to
on,
you.
man. Jeez.
Talked about
Yeah,
all
my personal info.
we talked about all things TV, which I'm always for talking TV shows. People,
Absolutely. Some good
all
Hawks.
things
Some good
movie.
little Hawks talk.
I just came back from watching a Star Trek movie, so there's that. But
Oh, is that what you were getting home for?
well,
Star
okay,
Trek.
so
Did they do anything for the past guy? Like, did he die in the movie or something so that you know he's not going to come back? Or
no, they had two U.S. enterprises driving next to each other, and one of them says, and they started playing Wiz Khalifa in the background, and then one just kind of flew.
I was like,
One kind of they had Wiz
you
Khalifa
had me
flying,
until the Wiz Khalifa.
two enterprises
I
flying
was
next to each other. I'm gonna miss you, Anton. Chekhov, and then Wiz Khalifa came on, and they flew off in different directions. A heavily
right,
CGI'd, excuse me, heavily CGI'd Anton, who, like Paul Walker, R.A.P., wasn't even looking
right,
at the camera, was just kind of looking into space.
right.
No, no, they had a, kind of like. First of all, it was in a giant and loving memory of Nemo. Who's the guy who recently died? Not recently, but Spock.
Yeah, yeah. Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy. There was a
Yeah.
giant rest in peace like dedication for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Anton,
Mm-hmm.
and Chekhov. But I was like, damn.
Yeah, I don't. I didn't. I've not. I've. That's the second or third one.
They're in the third
This is
one
the.
now.
This is the third one.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the second one. I guess I should.
A lot of people hate it. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, so I honestly couldn't tell you.
I have tried so hard to be a Star Trek fan.
I, I
I honestly have. I really have. Tried to watch it on Netflix. I just didn't. It's kind of funny to watch the original, just because it's, so old.
so goofy too.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's been CawCast today. Thrash, where can we reach you, man?
Uh, you just go to the subreddit, reddit.com/r/Atlanta Hawks, or follow us on Twitter, Atlanta Hawks underscore Reddit. I think. Yeah, that's probably it. Atlanta Hawks underscore Reddit.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to us go on and on about our
On and on.
TV movie preferences. And if you guys have made it this far into the pod, give us your top 12 Hawks, I guess, in the last decade. Anywhere. It's been real. We out.